This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP network.
This is episode 703 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast for February 25th, 2026. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's show. I'm your host Tracy, and with me I have Chris and Lee.
Hello.
And good friend of the show and former show director for Universal Orlando, Mr. Blake Braswell. Hello, Blake.
Hello.
That's the kind of quality opening I was counting on right there.
Professionalism.
Absolutely.
It's so glad to be on here and hanging out with all of you all.
I say it's nice to speak to you, but we get to speak quite often, but that's a different podcast. We will leave that one there because most of our listeners couldn't care less about that thing.
Well, they should. Shame on them.
Are you saying we may have created a very extremely niche podcast on the side?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have especially 30 years after it came out.
It's
but
still
I will
relevant.
say, even though Lee talks to you all the time, we had just mentioned you on last week's episode of when we had recorded inside of the studio
Yeah.
at Universal. And every time I walk down that street, I just literally time travels right back to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a cool experience.
That was a blast. I also really miss those microphones. Those are very nice.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's that, because it's been split by the pandemic, it seems like the time that land forgot or the time that time forgot.
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems such a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, how long have you been left? We'll get into that in a minute anyway.
Yes. So anyway, it has been a while since you've joined us on this podcast. So Blake, before we get into it all, let the listeners know who you are and why you're qualified to join us on discussing this specific topic.
Well, my name is Blake Braswell, and I was a senior show director over at Universal Studios. I was like desperately, when you asked, tried to pull up my LinkedIn page to go, what the heck were the years again? But I was there for, I think, back in the napkin math, was around 7 years, and I was on the creative team developing stuff for Horror Nights predominantly, but also working on the How the Grinch Stole Christmas and developing the Mardi Gras parade themes and such. I stalled enough to pull up my LinkedIn to remind me what years it flipping was. There we go. Let's see.
Awesome.
Where 7.5 years I was there.
Wow.
Doing that stuff. I think the very first year though, I was also double dutying as a performer over at Universal as well, doing the wand pairing and the Potter
Nice.
puppet show.
I'm
over there.
so disappointed we never got to do Ollivanders with you as a wand keeper.
awesome.
Would have been amazing.
Oh, I was one of the few people who are cleared to do it with a Scottish accent.
Yeah, I know. We've had that conversation
love
before.
it.
It's
Did we
because
talk
you
about
can't
that?
do a
Yeah, we
British
did.
accent.
I've never heard this.
Yes, it's because his British accent's terrible and his Scottish is barely passable.
It's true.
Tell
That
you
is
two are friends.
amazing.
Oh my God, you need to go. I will find it. So before working at Universal, Blake, you were also at Disney, weren't you?
Yep, I was. Yeah, I was one of the equity performers over there doing the Jack Sparrow sword fighting show, the pirate tutorial. I did the Pirates and Pals adventure. I was friends with Crush over at Turtle Talk. I was
World Showcase, you were one of the
player.
world there. That's where I was going. There is a video of the Christmas Carol
I've seen it.
with a good friend of ours also who was a wand keeper who now works at Epic Universe, and that is hilarious. You were also Scottish in that, Blake, if I do remember rightly.
I was. That was the shortest callback I ever had at Disney because they called me in back to come back and read for it, and I walked in and they're, hey, here's what you want to do. Like, come out of the room. We want you to just come in and make up a story. I don't know, about like a dragon and a princess. And I was like, okay, cool. Walked in the room. I kicked the door and I was like, lords and ladies, I've come to get here. And they're like, stop, you're fine. You're good. You go home. I got like 4 or 5. I legitimately burst the door in to tell the story. And then I had a contract in like 2 weeks or something. I don't know.
Fantastic.
It's a
I'm not going to lie. That was a really good accent.
Every Scottish person listening to this podcast is going, yeah, no, it wasn't Chris.
No. Like we always say this, right? As like Americans, like we hear accents like, oh my God, that's such a good British accent. Lee and Trace are like, that was shit. That sounded terrible.
Well, that
part of
is
Australia
actually,
are they from?
so what was, because that had to be so big and broad. What I did tell guests though that would come up and like who were from Scotland, be like, you from Scotland? I was like, oh, but I moved here when I was like 12 with my family.
Brilliant.
And they're like, oh, okay, because I can hear and I'm like, okay, if I can make you believe that, I feel like I'm
exactly.
I feel like I'm doing pretty good. But I did use the Wand Keeper because it was a quieter, more intimate thing.
Yes.
I did really try to use that to specifically try to narrow down on like a Drumnadrockety Highland Scottish accent. Like I was trying to narrow it down because it's such a quieter thing there. Try to do something a little more realistic. I'm coming for Tracy though because I'm currently listening to Bob Mortimer's audiobook on his life. So I'm coming after Middleborough's accent next. I'm not ready to toss it out yet.
To be fair, Blake, Tracy doesn't really have a Middlesbrough accent.
I don't, but I can help. And it's also
Can you fake one? Or do one?
Why was I thinking that that's where you were from?
She is, but she doesn't have that accent.
Oh, gotcha.
But first of all, we just call it Borough.
Borough.
I'm a Borough lass.
A Borough lass.
So it's been quite a while
with that accent.
since we've had you on the show. You've been on many. I want to say 2022 was the last time we had you on. Like Chris pointed out, we got to interview in the broadcast centre, which was amazing. I think you were actually the last official sort of PR interview that we ever did with anyone at Universal. Remotely, we did a few at Epic Universe for the media event.
And then I did one with you guys after I had left, and I was either in Connecticut or in Tennessee.
Yeah, that was
working
2022.
Right?
We did. We talked about the 5 treatments you did for the 5 houses at Horror Nights that year.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to have you
it doesn't
back
feel
on.
like it was that long ago.
I was about to say, man, time travel.
It really was. Yeah.
Literally.
Cool.
Jeez.
Right. Well, moving on, as Blake is on specifically to talk about the new exhibit that is taking place in Philadelphia, because apparently it's always sunny in Philadelphia, but it didn't look it with the video we watched today. It looked a bit cold, to be fair. But if you haven't heard about this new exhibit, before we get into talking to Blake about it specifically, step inside the creative and innovative world of theme parks through the lens of Universal's fan favourite attractions, including Jaws, Illumination's Minions, The Secret Life of Pets and Sing, Super Nintendo World in all caps, Jurassic World, DreamWorks Animation's How to Train Your Dragon, Universal Monsters, and more.
Always like more.
Yeah. Explore the storytelling, innovation, and world building behind Universal's legendary creations, from the world-famous studio tour to the all-new Epic Universe, and experience artistry, creativity, and technology that turn ideas into groundbreaking global attractions. Created and developed by the Franklin Institute in partnership with Universal Destinations and Experiences.
Awesome. So Blake, will you please tell us all about your experience?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, there was a very specific reason you were there, wasn't there, Blake?
I was going to say, I'm even more of a, I don't want to say an expert, but more of another reason I should speak on this is my sister, Patty Braswell, or Patty Hunter. Now it works for location-based experiences for Universal, and this was she's actually now moved out your way, out in the UK, but this was one of the last projects in the States that she was wrapping up. So she came back to see this thing through, and so I got to be her +1 to come hang out for the gala event before the opening day on Valentine's Day on this past Saturday, and it was amazing. Like it means I doubly got to experience both. I saw old friends, both in person as well as those like whose work is at the location as well, or there might be videos and stuff of them.
Yes,
at work. But I also just got to see my sister's work, which was amazing, and I could not be more proud. She doesn't seem much like a little sister when she's out there doing that. It was pretty amazing walking into the event, and like, you know, the soiree is all set up around the giant Ben Franklin statue in the middle of there. Mm-hmm. We got all this food and drinks, and just everybody's coming up to my sister to take a picture with her, and I was like, this is so cool.
That is awesome.
So you're saying creativity just runs inside the Braswell blood?
Oh, it does.
It's so funny because I did theater at the very end of, I got into theater very late, and I might be repeating stuff from previous pods, but I apologize. But I didn't get into it like a lot of the people that I did theater at college with who were like from little kids. But because I got into it later, and my sister, she's like 4.5 years younger than me, she did like a play. And I remember I came back to my high school and helped her with some makeup for The Crucible, of all things. Oh. She was the one who screamed, seeing that she could see the stuff happening in the courtroom. She was awesome. And she did some stuff and was like, not for me, and got a degree in sports medicine and then a master's in parks, rec, and management. But she ended up getting into the technical side of entertainment, kind of a backwards way into Universal as a tech, one of the techs, whatever does pyro, that kind of stuff, staging and rigging, and then she kind of worked her way up and left to go work for Nickelodeon to become a producer at Nickelodeon, and then Universal brought her back to sort of run things on the staging, rigging, and tech kind of thing. And for this brief time, there was this awesome moment where it was me and Patty working on Horror Nights together. If you'd ask my parents, they would tell you that we ran the whole show. So it was my job with the scenic designers to come up with crazy stuff to do. She's the one that got to sit across from us and go, what are you fools thinking? We have to realistically do this. And so she's the one who had to make our craziness actually come to life. But that was a cool experience too, because she changed a lot how that whole system works, where long story short, people that have to make the reality and people that create the fantasy, there's always a tug and pull, right?
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
one group, like dreaming big, the other group's like, this is great, but like we have to actually do a thing, right? And her goal was to do the big dream and really facilitated like communication much earlier, starting things sooner, looping in groups before, getting designers on things quicker and stuff. And a lot of the stuff, it's while she doesn't get the credit like we did, like, hi, this is Blake and Dylan's house, like, but so much of the stuff that she did made your experiences better. Yes. You just won't know it because it's such a spider web behind the scenes that made things better. So I've always been proud of her for a long time anyway.
It's so interesting to me to find out how people fall into the theme park business, because it's rare that you find someone that kind of walks into it from a perspective of, that is what I want to do. Most people, like Patty, has like completely sort of gone in one direction, then just fell into it from another perspective. It's like, look at what you're doing right now isn't where you started out, and it's so weird. Not
at all. To be a guy who was just trying to do theater and choreograph some sword fights for plays and movies, to be like now managing budgets and looking at large staff sizes and stuff for themed entertainment. Yeah, no, it's not. It'll be interesting because long may your podcast reign. In 15 years from now, that might change as there are more universities and degrees actually teaching this stuff.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see what that wave of folks, brings to things. But yeah, it is funny that my sister now works in entertainment, because that definitely wasn't her thing early on. So it makes me very happy the way this all came about.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we watched the video. I give a plug to Vincent Vision. We watched his video. He went down for the opening day of it to kind of have a look round. How was it? I mean, I assume you'd spoken to Paddy about it beforehand, so you knew what you were walking into, or did you walk in not knowing what it was going to be?
Actually, she, we had talked, and I knew she was trying to curate this thing and get all the, get all the pieces and parts there. And I'll tell you what's really cool is, if you saw this any other theme park, I don't think what happened would have happened without her being there, because she was attached to entertainment. Now, this is going to sound weird for a lot of folks, but I don't know. A lot of your listeners might understand the nuance too of this. Like, it's like you have the creators of entertainment at Disney, and then you have Disney Imagineering, and they both do very different things, right? Even though they're kind of coming together. And Universal is similar with, you've got Creative, which is really responsible for the lands and the attractions and these kind of things. And then you've got the in-park, creative for the entertainment that happens. And, that's from your wand keeping to your, to your Horror Nights and Mardi Gras and all those kind of things, and the individual shows that get created and stuff. But typically it's something like this. I would expect it would be predominantly about the sort of, STEAM aspect of attractions and building rides and things like that. But because they wanted to do this project and she's there and has the background she was able to say, what about all this entertainment stuff? And, Horror Nights obviously, has a big draw and a big name and stuff. So there is such cool stuff about the attractions, and then also cool stuff about the entertainment that happens. And there's a game to play to call a show as a stage manager. I would never thought I would have seen that, at a museum like that. Stage managers are a perfect example of people that they do so much. Like the ones at Horror Nights, you'll probably never. Well, if you do see them, you don't know you've seen them as you pass by them. But they do so much stuff for you to enjoy the night that you'll never know about. Right, making sure all your performers are there, everything's running smoothly and stuff. And so for this exhibit to have all these pieces, it's wild to me how complete it feels for someone from the inside looking at it, right? Because typically, us jaded folks who've done this would come into something like this and be like, well, they left out this, and they didn't talk about that, and of course, yada, yada, yada. And instead, no, it was a very comprehensive thing about like all the parts, from creative, from specifically capital C, Universal Creative, and the entertainment groups in there. And some of the people I got to see being interviewed, like people that I knew as like hourly, technical crew that now are like supervisors and stuff, and seeing them on these videos and here talk, I'm like, oh my, I remembered this person when they first ever worked on Horror Nights. This is awesome. It's really cool. I mean, I think, before we get too deep into it, I would say the Philly Mag, I sent you guys a link, but the Philly Mag did a write-up by Laura Swartz. And her quote is my favorite thing in this, which was trying to explain it to people, like, why should they come to the event? She said, the takeaway is less, I saw a minion, and more, someone built this, I could build this.
Okay.
And I think that was the coolest thing about the overall experience.
Yeah.
That is an interesting take.
I like that quote.
I wish to go to Universal.
Right, off you go. We'll meet at the edge of the Forbidden Forest.
Where can our vacation wizards take you? Just tap the port key at portkeyvacations.com and let the magic begin.
Yeah.
I know it's a touring thing. I know, Tracy, you had something that you hoped and would make a lot of sense. I'll leave you to say that whenever you want to.
What?
About it touring.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I don't listen to myself, obviously.
It will be interesting to see where else it goes, basically. But Tracy had a thought that...
I honestly think that they should bring it over here with Bedford opening. I think it would go down an absolute storm over here.
That'd be hysterical if it chased my sister as she moved to the UK.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I forget. I feel like, don't quote me, I feel like it's is it 6 months or something? I forget how long it's supposed to be here in Philly.
6 months is what...
August, I think Vincent said it was supposed to be open until, or September, sorry.
But I can't wait to grab my family and go back in a couple of weekends to go. Because there was just stuff that I was like, this could be a shocker to you guys, but one of my favorite games my daughter likes to play is to make haunted houses up in her room, in her house. And so,
of course,
I was going to say I couldn't possibly imagine that.
And there's a couple of cool experiences that let you play with lighting and like the audio, and it's really cool. Like, I mean, it's and the Franklin Institute. I just need to go back in general because I mean it's an amazing museum. I didn't that night. I only hit up the Universal stuff, but I can't wait. I can't wait to see it all. It is a very how do I say this? Like, I think the way that lady put it is perfect. I guess if I was thinking like, to use the overused term of an immersive experience, right? Like everything is, and it's like, no, this is like the Franklin Institute. I mean, like this isn't trying to whisk you away. This is trying to show you this is how this is done. And it's really cool. I mean, like thing to walk through and just, especially like if you have worked on it and you sort of, some things you sort of take for granted. It was really cool to walk in with my sister and, and I got to hang out with my good buddies, Mike Aiello, TJ Manarino. So good to see them again.
You've seen Mike a lot recently, though, haven't you? To be fair, you seem to keep popping up around him.
I did get to see him. Oh, we went down to Florida this past summer, and he did surprise me for a trip. But it was great because we turned one corner and my sister's like, "Hey, TJ, check it out. It's your office." And I'm like, "Oh my God, it is. It's all the stuff and like the history of Horror Night stuff that he like had in his office there." And
That's cool.
Right. And it's really cool. So I guess she had really been pounding the pavement, getting everywhere, talking to all the parks across the globe. I know one of the gentlemen who works for Universal Creative in Japan, like helped procure stuff for this. And he actually made it down to visit as well. It was really neat to meet him.
That's really cool.
So the amount of stuff that she got was pretty cool. And it was fun to see a lot of that again. Like, oh my gosh, I remember sitting talking in your office and staring at that over your head or whatever, it was really cool to see so many of those artifacts, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I know one of the things that we'd noticed in Vincent's video was the artwork for like the set design for Dead Man's Pier, which was such an amazing house.
Obviously I was super excited about that, and I sent that to Dylan Coloff, the designer on that. I was like, buddy, I missed working on this house with you. Check it. And sent him a picture of the display with Dead Man's Pier's design book in there. It was pretty amazing.
I mean, you can tell his houses, like Blood Moon, Dead Man's Pier.
Yeah, there's something about them. They're just
LRT stuff from last year. You can tell which are his houses.
Well, and I'll tell you, like, I had a and Nick Collins, one of the other designers, he's actually in a video on there. It was good to see him up there too. I may have taken a dumb selfie with it and sent it to him. But I didn't know. I mean, I didn't really know the details. Like I said, I knew that, like, they were procuring things and trying to get stuff from all, from character costumes to whatever they could grab, all sorts of different stuff from the parks around the world. And I didn't really know like what it would be, and I mean, for me personally, since I started predominantly on the scare zones before I also moved into houses for Horror Nights, I was super stoked because there's an opening when you walk in. There's a kind of a mock-up, like you're in one of the trams at Universal.
Oh yes,
like Hollywood, and it does a quick little history thing.
Yeah,
of Universal, and when it gets to Horror Nights, it's like all my streets. It's like Anarcade and oh God, was Festival of Dead was on there. Like, I was so excited. Like there were so many things from the streets I worked on that were there that kind of became iconic pieces like of the year itself. And despite my sister working on this, that's not her doing, because someone else had to pull videos and edit and crowd stuff. She didn't work on that kind of stuff.
So she wasn't like, I'm going to put all my stuff in that my brother worked on.
Right. But it was really cool to be standing in that room. I looked at, Mike and teacher. I was like, well, my day was just made, because they had seen that part earlier in the day before I got there. I was like, that's awesome. It made me really happy, especially to see Anarcade. I love that. I love that zone.
I mean, I think the first year you worked on the streets is probably my favorite scare zone of all time, and that was Icon Alley at 2015.
Oh, that was awesome.
That
spent a lot of time
was
there.
Amazing.
I'm trying to remember the ones that I think it was Anarcade.
Didn't you do Vanity Ball?
Twisted Traditions also made it into the stuff that was there at the bar. Yep, I did Vanity Ball as well, and the Undead Vikings. And I was really stoked to see. I would have to go back because of the way that you're in it. There's actually screens all around you, so I don't know if I might have missed.
Yeah.
Looking at it, but it was really cool. I was like, I was talking, it says something about like, and then, it brought horror to life or something like that. And then it talks about Halloween Horror Nights. And I was like, oh, that's so cool to see all this stuff.
It's one of the things.
It would all be the same.
Yeah. It's one of the things I always worry that people think about exhibits like this, because it really does pull the curtain back of kind of showing how the sausage is made, to use that.
Wow.
To use that phrase.
I think it gives a taste of it. I would say the same thing. Like, I wonder how this is gonna feel, but it reminded me a lot of we had a thing called Art of Tomorrow. I would work on with TJ Matarino, and it was this thing where 8th grade we'd work with 8th grade kids in underserved schools, that showing them the kind of jobs and stuff you could have in entertainment, that, it wasn't just being a performer or getting on stage and singing, whatever. that it was creating these stories, costume design, and we would work with them to develop their own stories that we would produce on stage at the end of their school year, and they'd come see it. It was really cool. And so we worked a lot in the beginning and getting some stuff Universal Creative as well to kind of show them the different jobs and things and careers and paths and that you could do. And by the way, program is super cool. As the kids continue with it, the group whittles down, but the final groups, there's like scholarships for nearby colleges and stuff. It's a really cool program that not a lot of people know about. Oh. But this reminded me of it, where it was like a taste of things. Like it's all physics one, where like you are dropping these marbles down a coaster run, and you can see yourself like if you don't do the speed at a certain consistency, it won't. So there's like some hands-on kind of exhibit stuff like that. There's a cool one about projection mapping and showing and it's all just kind of a taste of it a little bit. I think that I would hope that what you'd have a kid go, well, I'm going to look up more about that now. Yeah. And learn more about that kind of side of things.
It's one of those things I know we've talked about a lot on here, and I'm sure Tracy and Chris will agree with me that it was one of the things that I worried about, sort of delving in behind the scenes and speaking to the amount of people we have spoken to who have been at Universal and worked on attractions and stuff, that pulling the curtain back would spoil things when visiting the parks. And I'm sure you'll agree, it for me, it's completely enhanced my love of these theme parks.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, like, I got into how movies and stuff are made so early on that like I just enjoy that kind of stuff. I always know it's also a really good movie if I do not think about it my first time watching. Yeah. If I'm just like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, then the second time through, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't notice how good this particularly how good this whatever effect was or that, because I was just so into the film itself. And I think that's the same thing. I mean, like, just because that there's a scientific reason they pulled off the magic, it doesn't make it any less magical. It's still amazing. Someone still had to figure this stuff out and how to do it. And some of the stuff is like the simple stuff. Like there's a Horror Nights thing of like play with the lighting in a small room and like the audio and the effects in a room to kind of get different atmospheres. That's so easy. I mean, that's so simple. I mean, I joke about what my daughter knows, but we got color changing light bulbs and stuff that we can do all this stuff with, and we play different ambient music and stuff. But it's like that kind of thing that gives you just a little hint of like, oh yeah, look at how you can do. And of course, you've only got like so many options to play with. But I don't think that takes away from things, because you obviously know that there's so many more options, that people have and stuff. I think the coolest thing it does is just show you that all the way down to the smallest thing to the largest coaster, like there is somebody that is literally building it, as well as coming up with what it's going to be. And I guess that was a cool thing that the Franklin Institute. It's my understanding, by the way. I will make this clear. I was not in on the inner workings of this, but from my understanding, kind of talking to some of the people from Franklin Institute and stuff those evenings and stuff, was they really wanted like the people who actually did the stuff, that, like when I say I saw like the guys who's, now like a supervisor and stuff on tech, and seeing him in the videos, they didn't want like just executives talking about how cool the park is. They wanted the people who really worked on stuff. And I thought that was pretty awesome. It's
been quite interesting in 15 years of doing this podcast to see, like, one of the things I wanted to do when I started was to shed the light on those people like you, like Mike Aiello, like, Laura Sauls, these people whose names that people didn't know, and now Universal has started to do that. So I don't know whether you were specifically referencing, but one of the guys we saw in that video was Greg Hall, and I know we interviewed him about Velocicoaster when that opened, and like he's a person that everyone knows his name now. Shelby Oney is another one who, I've been talking to quite a bit because I know she's involved with the park coming over here, and it's like they're starting to what Disney have been doing for a long time, Universal have started to do now with their creative members, and it's good because that's those people whose passion it is for these attractions talking about the things that they've helped create. It makes such a difference.
Greg Hall actually was cool seeing his video up there. That Art of Tomorrow program I talked about, the last time I worked on it, he got us a bunch of stuff to show the kids and everything. he was awesome for that. Actually, it's a guy named Lewis I was talking about. Actually, that was the tech that had been promoted up to supervisor, and it was so cool. And plus, like lighting designers that I work with, like when I saw Wendy's video up there, I was like, the only thing wrong with this is there needs to be all this molten, burning like rubbish or rubble around her, because we call it the Wendy special. That like she came up with this idea of how to make it like burning embers and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. She's up there, because again, these are the people that literally make it happen.
Yeah.
Wendy's like, I'm gonna go ham on this float for Mardi Gras. See you in a little bit. Like, it's so cool. I mean, it was really awesome seeing, because you're very used to just one or two people they'll grab to talk. Even when they have like us talk about things, like it was nice to talk about. But like, man, I've got these scenic designers and we've got these lighting designers and effects designers and costume stuff that you really should be talking to too, because so much of what you love is what they've put on it. And I think that was when we doing the Art of Tomorrow with the kids. It was a big emphasis on like, there's not a person, that is this team that keeps making everything better. Mm-hmm. And this exhibit does a really good job of showing you that, like all the, how important these itty bitty details are, like, in the new Fantastic Beast areas and stuff that are in Epic, and all the little detail to see so close going, oh my gosh, will anyone even see some of this? This is amazing, like that it's that detailed. But it's really cool to see how much emphasis was put on the actual people making the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting thing then, Blake, because a lot of it seemed to be heavily based on Epic Universe, and not having visited yet, do you feel that that's going to have spoiled some things for you going when you eventually get to go?
Oh, nah. No, I don't think so. There wasn't really, it was a lot of like prop stuff for the Harry Potter pieces, but I don't think, there's like a character that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a character created for the Battle of the Ministry, but cool. Like, it doesn't really ruin anything.
Was that Higgledy by any chance, the house elf?
Yes. Yeah. I wasn't aware of that because I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, oh, fun. That's cool. I mean, so I don't think that really messes anything up. There was, I feel like there actually wasn't a ton of Epic, or that it didn't feel like it was one more than the other. It felt sort of evenly distributed. I mean, Horror Nights and Dark Universe certainly got a good section out of the whole thing.
Good. There was some awesome maquettes in there. I was going to say, some awesome maquettes in there. I was like,
I had to, honestly, I've got a Google thing, because my brain kept saying macaque. So I was like, nope, it's not a primate. So yeah, maquette.
There was very specifically an Usher maquette that I was like, oh my God, if they sold that in the park.
That's the first thing I said was, why can't we buy these things?
I was going to say blow my wad, but that's not quite what I meant. I mean, maybe I would.
Yeah.
Where's my sound effect board? All right.
Yeah, some awesome stuff that there was the little model for the Phantom of the Opera scene in Monsters Unchained. Like, if they sold stuff like that, people like absolute theme park nerds like us would spend a fortune on it.
It's like even like the white models. I love those as well.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Oh yeah. I was surprised. The Usher one. I was like, have I seen this before? Because there are some things that I'm sure I actually saw over at Art and Design that you go by a million times, and now seeing them in a display and like set up, I'm like, did I see this? Like, am I,
yeah.
Or I'd say something, it's like, oh yeah, that was right in my office, like right here. And you're like, oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? But it's like you're seeing it out of place in a different area. But you bring up a good point. I wonder if it'll inspire any new merch or anything to be made as they go through it.
As if they don't take enough of our money.
I mean, the thing is now with Horror Nights, like the Horror Nights fans are hardcore. Like Universal fans are hardcore, but Horror Nights fans are on a completely different level.
Because we're all unhinged,
and they still, for the most part, just pump out generic merch, it's t-shirts and mugs and the usual stuff. I mean, I do like the we've actually got it sat down there, the stained glass window thing that they've done. Have they done it the last 2 years or just last year? Like that was so awesome. But
we don't normally go out of our way to get stuff like that.
No,
but we made sure that we could get it all. And it was
Well, what was the year? It was the year that Slaughterhouse was in its first, and I think we had the print-on-demand posters and T-shirts. Uh-huh. And I thought that was smart because they always get scared of a limited run thing where, what if we make people angry because there's not enough, or what if we have too much and it didn't work,
If they're too much, how many Frankenstein popcorn buckets were that year we went over there? Chris, you'll know they were everywhere.
The only thing about limited run things is I don't know why Universal like to sell things before events.
Oh, let's not get into that.
It's just that drives me insane.
It still makes, but I still find it weird how you can buy grand opening medallions for Epic Universe after the grand opening, like for people who weren't there. I don't understand it.
Those of us who were there, we couldn't get them.
We've all got one.
Yep.
Yeah. We were there
it
opening
needs to be
day.
like a comic book that ran out, and says in the back of it says this is second edition.
It's just weird. Like we were there opening day, and Michelle, and couldn't get one.
Nope, sold out.
We were getting mixed messages over it, and now we've got one. There's one. Friends of ours have one sat there for Chris and one for Michelle, but it's like there'll be all these people with grand opening medallions who weren't anywhere near the park on opening day.
Maybe haven't even been to the park.
I mean, maybe. It's very strange.
Anyway. I guarantee you some that have it that hadn't been. Guaranteed.
That's probably where they all went.
Mr. eBay.
Yep.
But I tell you, one of the things I did really like, and I'd love to have it as like a big wall print, was there was like that big wall. I don't know what you call it. It wasn't a canvas, like a big thing with all the coasters from around the Universal parks around the globe, and it was just like a line drawing of the layout. That's so, again, if they did like a print of that, people would kill for it.
Speaking of coasters, one of the cooler things there was what are they called? The white models. And they make like a coaster.
Yeah.
The white model of the Fast and Furious coaster for Hollywood is awesome looking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
I don't think I understood the build that happened down that hillside to do it until like looking at it like that. You're like, oh my God, this is bonkers. Like that was really cool to see. I know as a kid that would be something I would glom onto with like the white models and stuff.
Any models are cool though, aren't they? Like I love that. I would literally kill someone for that Epic Universe. I
mean, good luck getting that home on the plane.
in the preview center at Studios, it's in Orlando. It is amazing.
I think it's bigger than our living room. To be fair,
it's just it's amazing.
It's so cool though.
It really is.
Like, where would it go?
I'd put it in the middle. I don't care. I'd walk around it. It's amazing.
You attach it to the ceiling.
That would be awesome.
Then you just lay on the floor. That'd be funny.
If I won the lottery, I don't want a bigger house to keep up with y'all, but there would be like this warehouse that you'd walk into with stuff like
That'd
that.
be amazing. Come on, Blake.
That's what it would be.
You must have stuff that like nerds would kill for.
I don't know if I do. I'm bad for memorabilia. Like I don't like. I think I was so into collecting comics and things as a kid. And I'm still dealing with the ramifications of collections that I'm like, okay, this one probably needs to go now. I go this way. That like, I'm loath to take on stuff. And like, I think maybe it's the byproduct of having moved 3 or 4 times in the last.
Yeah, that makes
years.
sense. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
That'd be a bummer.
But there are some things that I definitely like. But a lot of them, it wouldn't be like merch things, like the poster of the streets I did that had Vanity Ball and
I've got that.
The Undead Vikings and stuff like that year. Like, like I kept anything that got made into merch. I like, cause look, man, when you're creating a bunch of original, you get told a lot of reasons why you shouldn't do it. And so when it hits and they even make merch out of it sells well, you're like, so those I hold on to. Like, told you that was going to work.
That's always good. When you're proven right and you've got the evidence.
UUOP is brought to you by the Producers Club. Join today and get bonus episodes, the chance to be a guest host, birthday shoutouts on air, be part of our awesome Facebook community, and more. Head over to uuop.supercast.com to subscribe. Shameless plug.
But yeah, going back to this exhibit, I love, and you brought it up there, Blake, I love that a lot of it's hands-on. Like there's a lot of stuff to sort of get involved with. I think Vincent was like one of the things he was manipulating one of the sheep from Burke, which was super cool. I want to do that
so much. I want that sheep. That's my favourite thing.
It did make me laugh that they had one of the mock-ups of the drone dragons that still haven't really been seen over Epic Universe at this point.
Yeah, they have been seen over there, right?
They've been heard probably more than they've been seen. That's why we haven't seen them much lately.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised to see that up here too. To be totally honest, I was like, oh, well, I'm surprised to see that thing.
Yeah, because if you watch that epic documentary that came out on Peacock, one of the biggest thing was they could not get it to not sound like a jet engine.
Oh yeah, you know what? I need to go watch that thing. I see it's still on
here.
I need to watch
Have you not watched it, Chris? Yeah, you do.
Oh, it's
need
really
to watch
good.
it.
No, yeah. I mean, I tried to watch it the first few times before they postponed it, and then I just kind of forgot. But now you reminded me, so
It's not.
I think I held off a little bit because I hadn't seen the park yet, so I kind of wanted to see it.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I think it's one of those documentaries. I think if you watched it before going, it would probably enhance going, but then also going first and then watching it would kind of do the same the other way. So yeah, I think you'd probably be better off watching it after you've been.
I agree.
But there was a lot of history stuff. It's not so much about Epic Universe as it is the kind of history of Universal as well. I would have liked it to have delved into a bit more of Epic Universe stuff than it actually does. But it's still pretty cool. And like, there's we were sat there going, oh, I know him. And I know them too.
Yeah.
There's quite a few people like Seth. Oh, there's Seth Kabursky. Of course he'd be in it.
Yeah, but then it was like, oh, there's Seth again. Oh, there's Seth again.
And they go, oh, there's Kyle. Where's Kyle there?
Where's Kyle there?
But, well, the cameos from Horror Nights you get to see are my buddy Lewis, who worked on the tech side of things. You got Nick Collins, the senior designer. You got who else was up there? I know Wendy was up there on lighting. Gosh, I think I'm forgetting people. I was really shocked at how many people I saw that I was like, oh my gosh, these people don't ever get like props like this. This is so amazing. That were up there. It was very cool. Oh, Patrick Braillard, he's up there.
Oh yeah, we saw Patrick at Epic on grand opening night.
We did. Got a big hug actually.
Yeah, it's the only one we hadn't met at that point.
Yeah.
And then Summer turned around and went, I didn't realise you guys were here. I was like, yeah, we're here.
She covered me in fake blood. It was funny.
But back to the exhibit anyway.
Yes.
That's what we're supposed to be talking about. Coolest bits for you, Blake. What were the bits that you were like, as someone who's worked in that industry and still does, what were the coolest bits for you?
I think from like an inspirational level, all the interactive stuff that the kids could do, well, big kids too, but like, because I'm projection mapping, right? You've been around it, you've been around it, but I watch people come up to it and go, oh, this is really cool. So that's how this, and I was like, oh yeah, not everyone knows how this works, and so to see the projection mapping, the physics on the coaster and like the calling the live show I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like a video game of stage management. I mean, that is just shocking to me. From theater to theme parks, stage managers are just unsung heroes completely. And they have ultimate responsibility to make everything work. But like, man, not ultimate authority on every decision. And they are just heroes. And to see like an actual exhibit talking about them and making interactive was particularly amazing. I think for things that I wasn't involved around and in that I thought were really cool, seeing some of the walk around character stuff from Kung Fu Panda was cool because don't see those frequently. I didn't see those on the park frequently, and while I'm around some of those characters or those things look amazing, and to be able to see them that close and in the detail, sort of just unobstructed and on your own time and pace, to look at those was really, really cool.
It's interesting, kind of going off the back of that. Have you seen the Prince Gator meet and greet that's going on for Mardi Gras at the moment, Blake? Because that costume is amazing.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. No, I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, you need to go and find it. I'll plug it's on. There's a video on our Instagram. Go and check it out. It's awesome. Chris, you got to meet him, didn't you, when you were there for opening weekend?
Yeah. We weren't even like going for that. He kind of pops out. We're like, oh, that looks amazing.
Look at that guy.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Yeah, the detail on that costume is ridiculous, and it has like this. I was talking about this last week where the sunset was happening. It hit the costume just right, and you get this like really cool kind of glow off of the entire costume.
Disco Gator.
Cool.
Oh my goodness,
it's awesome.
He needs to be on roller skates. That would just
Skater Gator.
That is awesome looking, man. I had no idea about that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
love
next year we
that.
see his sister.
It's just like the Earl the Squirrel thing. I really get
Yeah.
stoked when it's and like Jack the Clown and Chan.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the stuff that can be created originally
Yes.
lives like this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It really
That's
is.
so great.
Yeah, yeah. I loved the sort of mock-ups for the heads of, I think there was the Wolfman from Monsters Unchained and Gillman from
Oh, the
Monsters
Gillman was
Unchained. I
cool.
love stuff like that. Chris, is this something that you would make an effort to go to? I don't know how far away Philly is from you.
It's a few hour plane ride. I would definitely love to check it out. I mean, Alexa and I are huge museum people. Like we love going on vacation at different places and going to museums. And the fact that this one is a museum as well as a Universal exhibit, like absolutely.
Yeah, man. There's a flipping Wright brother plane hanging up in there. I guess they knew the founder of the Franklin Institute. They were like colleagues or friends or something with that person. So because I was like, that's a good replica. Like, no, that's real. I was like, it's too clean
wow.
and new. But it is, and it looks amazing.
Wow.
Do you have any insider knowledge, Blake, of where else this will be touring?
I don't. I asked how long it was going to be here, and I didn't even think to ask like where it was next if it had been scheduled. I noticed I don't see anything in the article saying where it is next. I don't know. That's part of why you.
So it is. There are plans to travel though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there for 6 months, so I assume there's plans to travel, and I don't know. Maybe you put it up, and then people start asking, or you use this to leverage your next thing. I made the comment of like, man, whenever this is done, they should put this thing at City Walk or something like this. This is really cool. Like,
Yeah.
It made me think of like Future World used to be at Epcot, where you have like the sort of like learning side of things. I was like, this is really neat.
I'd love
really
that.
well. The Great Movie Escape.
No
That's
comment.
a really good. No, so you
I just
replaced
thought about that.
Yeah,
Just
no,
Blake
that's a
talking, I'm
really
like,
good
oh,
idea.
wow.
Yeah, that would get people in. Even if you charge like a $5 cover charge to go in because it's on City Walk, it's not going to be free. But I know I think we talked about it the other week, Tracy. There was that. Oh, it might have been when we had Seth on. We talked about the Gardens of Allah because when the Gardens of Allah was getting done out. What was that, 5 to 10 years ago?
Oh, so many
the
rumors
big
about
rumor
it.
going around was it was going to be a Universal Orlando museum, and everyone was so bummed when it just turned out to be the media center. But putting something like that in there, or as a replacement to Fast and Furious Supercharged, they've got a whole building there. They could put something in.
Well, that is also true.
Oh yeah, I do. I am curious of what goes there.
Okay.
I think everybody is.
You said that a little with some knowledge there, Blake.
No, there is
There's
none.
nothing in your voice, Blake.
No, I say it with someone who was like, when it opened and I went and I did it and I went, what's the shortest length of a major attraction has ever been opened and then closed? That was the question that I had.
I actually looked it up, and it's not the. I don't think Fast and Furious
No, it wasn't,
Supercharged
was it? It
is
was-
the shortest, like major attraction at
can't
Universal
remember what you said
Orlando.
it was.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what it was, but I don't. Or it is, but it's not by much. Well, we don't actually know when it's closing yet. But even if you
That's
say
true.
the middle of 2027, it's been open about 8. It'll have been open about 8 years, and I think it might be the shortest lived attraction at Universal Orlando. But it's not by. It's by months.
So, wouldn't it be funny if the replacement was Too Fast, Too Furious?
Haha. But there's been a lot
It just
of...
gets a lick of paint.
It's funny, there's a lot of rumours about a kind of retro Universal sort of great movie ride type thing going in there, which would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, but again, Chris, like you said with City Walk there, that preview centre's only has a finite lifespan.
Yeah. This
Small
museum
space,
would.
though.
That's what I'm saying. How big a space is this exhibit in, Blake? Like, how long would it take you to walk around it and kind of pay a reasonable amount of attention to everything?
I mean, I think if you're like us, who's really into this stuff, you're going to be there for a little bit. I think.
How long is a little bit in Blake terms?
I was trying to think about in terms of like I was trying to think of like a haunted house, right? I was trying to think, what's a
So
good
2.5 minutes.
length? Are we like the length of like a sprung tent house or something like that? Like,
Really?
I found it a good length. I mean, because I think
That's what she said.
with I think
I was biting my lips so much there.
oh man, because I think if you go too long, it fades away. I felt like things changed. Like you kind of have your opening, then you have the pre-show, I guess, then your opening. I really love the vibe that the opening is got artwork of storyboards everywhere, right? The beginning of the creative process. And so I was like, oh, this is really, I like this. And I think it's kind of like in sections, like you kind of go to that. And then the next one has some stuff about like some of the animatronics, like the sheep and stuff from Burke. And then you turn the corner at one point and it's like all dark with red light, and that's the horror night section. And I think stuff changed just enough, as you went along, that, as an adult, you're going to sit in there a little bit longer, I think, and look at everything.
Yeah.
As a kid, you might burn through quicker, but that's museums in general, I believe.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a bad judge, man. I went to New York City for the first time and went to the National Museum of the Science Museum or Natural History Museum. Sorry. And I think 9 hours later, I realized I had to go and leave. So I'm not a bad judge for time because I like a museum.
That's
I
like
will hang
us.
out.
Yeah.
When we went and did the Harry Potter Warner Brothers studio tour over here, and this was before the added Gringotts and the Hogwarts Express and the Forbidden Forest, so in its initial iteration, and on the website there's the Q&A of like, how long will I need to spend here? And it's like the average person will take 3 to 4 hours. We were there for 7.5.
Yeah, that's about right. But too, like I had to just think about it. But I went to an exhibit that is supposed to be part of visiting an entire museum.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was like, well, I guess it's not that long. But well, no, actually, like when you combine it with the whole museum, it is quite a lot to do.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how long it would actually take you. But if you're really going through and trying to mess with everything,
what, an hour,
like,
shorter, longer?
Yeah, well, I would say, yeah. I'm gonna guess. I bet it probably the average. Well, I'm just guessing. The average is a half hour, and then somewhere between 45 and an hour for folks who really want to like look and see each everything. Like I think we all would.
So basically, to get your money's worth out of visiting this, it's go and do everything else as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But like, why not? Like, it's the Franklin Institute. It's a well-known, and of course, the people that live there that have passes and stuff, they'll just go to this, go to that anyway. But yeah, it's an amazing museum. I can't wait to go back and see the whole thing.
I love that Universal are really stepping out of Disney's shadow at this point and kind of, I know they've announced that we're here. People know what Universal is now. It's not like that sort of thing in the shadows behind Disney. They're very much, with Epic Universe, kind of announced they're here, but they're really being aggressive of pushing, we are here and we're not just playing second fiddle to Disney. We're here and we're here for the long haul, and we want to push everything along. We want everybody to know that we're here, because there's still a lot of people who don't know Universal exists. Tracy had the prime example today. We had a technician at the house repairing one of our appliances, and Tracy got talking about the podcast, and
it said like coming out to Florida and things, and he asked what the podcast was about. So I said it's being vague, because that's what you tend to do. So I'd said it was on one of the theme parks in Orlando, and he straight away went, "Oh, Disney," and I was like, "No, no, the better side of that town."
We worked there for years. The amount of times I would have like aunts visit or whatever, and they're like, "So why did Disney build this park further away from the other stuff?"
What?
This is Disney. This is Universal.
Oh my God.
You're like, but they don't. Yeah. I mean, look, guys, I can't tell you how many times people go to Hollywood studios very angry about we're not being able to find Harry Potter. Happens all the time.
Oh, I've heard that a lot. Maddie, a friend of ours who used to work at Universal, I was going to say she now works at Disney. She doesn't. She did work at Disney, but she was like working in Universal. The amount of people that like come in with Disney tickets and trying to get in, or they go when she was working at Disney, like come in and go, right, where's Hogwarts? Like it's about 10 miles down the road.
Yeah. You need to take a train to get to it.
I don't understand. I talked about this last week when, not last week, 3 weeks ago, so they've been putting people out in studios to draw people into the Born Stuntacular, because apparently people don't know it's there. And I'm like, if you're spending the amount of money that you're going to spend going to these theme parks and you don't know where most of the rides are, then you deserve to miss them. That's my opinion.
It could use, for as good as that show is, it could use a better marquee. It could use a bigger marquee.
Yes.
I'll say that.
But even so, it doesn't. Anyway.
There's a soapbox there.
I've already had my soapbox 3 weeks ago. I said what I needed to say then, but it's like you should know.
I don't think you did though, judging by what's going on right now.
It's not those trips aren't cheap, and you should be doing your research. And Michelle said at the time, most people aren't like me and her that don't do that research, but you should.
But I think part of the appeal of Universal is you don't have to do that like
That's
you do for
true.
Disney.
Yeah,
and I will say that one of the things, not that this exhibit sort of gave me that takeaway, but just just thinking about Universal in general, having been to the exhibit and looking at things and everything, and maybe it was just luck that it ran this way, but things like just doing the express pass and that's it, and it's simple. I mean, good Lord, the amount of complaints that I know from people that aren't in the theme park world, but I know now who we went down to Florida, and then that they come back and talk about how much more fun they had at Universal over Disney because Disney was so stressful.
Yes.
With all the planning and the lighting, and it's just like all the stuff these Imagineers have worked to create for you to stumble across. No one's stumbling in anything because they just got their face in a phone and running around.
Oh, it drives me insane.
Yeah. I'll save. I've got comments on this and I'll save it for the bonus episode.
Will do.
I still find it bizarre at this point, and Blake, you probably go, shut up. But it's such a Universal Orlando nerd that if you'd have told me 7 years ago, the first time we met coming out of that Ghostbusters house, having interviewed you, I think once, that I was like, oh my God, just standing in Scare Actor Dining talking to Blake Braswell, who's show director for Universal, oh my God, you're not quite Mike Aiello, but you're not far off.
Exchanging soccer scarves,
and then,
football scarves.
And then the next thing, I'm doing a podcast on a random BBC comedy show from 30 years ago. I wouldn't have believed you.
I don't remember who I was stood next to. One of my girlfriends. And you two met. And I leaned into her and I was like, okay, there's my rival for Lee's affections.
My sister said, I'm so glad that you're excited I've moved to the UK so you have an excuse to go visit Lee now.
Is that seriously? Well, I've told you, we need fried egg chili. No one's going to get the reference, but fried egg chili chutney sandwiches will be the first thing we'll be eating together when you come over.
Yes.
Oh, that actually sounds really good. I need to eat that now.
Chris is like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
I love chutney, so I'll take it.
Anyway.
Well, if you'd, and speaking of 7 years ago, you'd have told me Universal would have a museum experience.
Yeah. Right.
I would what are you talking about? It's wild. They've definitely not, to your point about they're throwing it out there compared to Disney, but to keep things rolling and not just necessarily the parks necessarily, but things like this, you know, I mean, the other project my sister worked on, we're going to go see Thursday. DreamWorks has a kid show called Gabby's Doll's House. It's on Netflix, but she helped produce the stage show of it. It's like a kid stage show. Yeah. And so my daughter loves Gabby's Dollhouse.
So popular.
And it's touring through here this Thursday. We're gonna go check that out.
It will actually be interesting. I assume when you go back to the Franklin Institute, young Afton will be going with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm super excited to see. She actually won't let me tell her anything about it. She's like, I don't want any spoilers.
It'd be interesting to see how she gets on there.
Yeah, she was mad that I sent a picture of something with the haunted houses to her mom that she saw. She was like, "Don't send anymore. I don't want to see spoilers. I just want to go see it." So, but I'm very curious to see her reaction to everything.
So what I'm hearing then is we need another show with Afton's take. We'll interview Afton.
That would be funny.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I need her to go to her first horror night. I want to see that. How old is she now?
She's 8 now.
No,
she's getting there. She's getting that age, Blake.
Blake, how did that happen? How's she 8?
Hey, look, when I tell you that we because guys, it's been very cold here. So several weekends when we would have gone out doing stuff, it's been 10 degrees with like a -5, -8
would
wind
tell me, yeah.
Fahrenheit, mind you. So
yes,
we stayed in and we worked on some horror movies. Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. We worked our way through Predator and Predator 2, as well as Prey, Killer of Killers, and she and I went to the theater to see Badlands.
Pray Killer or Killers was amazing.
I'll get on my soapbox for that one. That one was awesome.
I saw, so before, we're going off on a complete tangent. So I saw a one sentence, I'm just going to leave it this and then I'll let Tracy take back over. But the thing that I completely summed up that movie for, I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, it was good, but the one sentence review I saw that kind of summed it up was, this is the Disneyfication of the Predator franchise. And then I watched it and I went, yeah, it really is.
Oh, I disagree because Daniel Trachtenberg made Prey as well. Like he's so good.
They're two very different movies.
What's the point of doing another movie where Predator hunts a bunch of people? I'm going to make Conan and a Predator movie together. And I'm like, hell yeah, you are. Let's do that. I'm here for it.
I enjoyed it, but I have my issues with it anyway.
Oh, you have issues with everything. Such a curmudgeon.
Can you make that a UUOP shirt? You have issues with everything.
Look, it wouldn't be Blake and I on a podcast together if we didn't go off on a tangent of something not attached to what we're actually talking about.
It's nothing to do with you and Blake.
No,
it's just tangents everywhere.
Blake and I we very much do it on Thanks for the Memory, for definite.
I don't know what you're talking about. We stay very on point.
So it's more of a tangent show.
We've had a whole conversation about cheese toasties on that podcast.
Right, I see no problem with that. It's a pertinent question.
Yeah, but it was nothing to do really with what we were talking about. Anyway.
Right, I guess we're kind of coming to the end of everything naturally.
Yeah, Blake, would you recommend it for people?
Yeah, I was intentionally not going overboard in explanation because obviously you can go on YouTube and you can see stuff. But if you think you can come to check it out, and obviously I keep an eye out to try to figure out where they may come next. It was really cool. Like if you love Universal, this is a lot of love shown to how and the people that make it all happen. So it and to see the people from Universal Osaka and Japan, to see the folks from Hollywood and everybody having such a warm, fuzzy feeling, for lack of a better word, of all the stuff that we all were seeing was awesome. It was amazing. It was really cool. And when you work for a big place like that, there's a lot of, there's can only be so many spotlights, right? So it's a very large place, and to see all the love thrown around to all the folks that make it happen on a daily basis. I mean, there's an operations director on there and stuff, talking about things. When the heck do you see them ever highlighted?
Very true.
It was really cool. I really recommend it.
Awesome.
Cool. I wish we could get out to see
when are we going, Lee?
I know. I wish it was that easy. If I was going out to America right now, no offense, I would not be going to Franklin Institute. I'd be going to Orlando, but I'm not.
We could do both. We could do a layover. That'd be cool.
What you do is you do a layover and you come see me. It's an hour and a half away.
Right?
We can't afford.
It's a train ride. You hop on the train, I'll pick you up. It's an hour and 10-minute train ride. It's even shorter train ride.
I would just like to say as well, that's a bucket list thing of mine, is to ride an American train.
Because they're just the same as British
No,
trains.
they're not. No, they are not.
Anyway.
They're probably there you go. Time better than
just
ours.
Come in there, see things, you fly, then you come over, then you take a train ride to here, and then we got a little bitty airport. You don't have to futz with anything. It's so small, but they do direct flights to Orlando. See? So you just come.
Nice.
Hang out.
Awesome.
See it. Do this for a day or two. I'll drive you 15 minutes to the airport and get you right on.
See, there's a plan.
It's too good to turn down, isn't it?
I know. Just need to get some money now.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
We're trying. Right. Yeah. So, Blake, thanks for coming and talking to us. And we know you are really busy and you've got a packed schedule. So we really appreciate all the time that you've
It really has
spent
been
with
a
us.
busy schedule. I do know that.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's been a little bonkers lately.
It
So
really has.
I appreciate you guys having me on. This is always a delight. It's good to talk to you all again.
We'd love having you on, Blake. Now, is there anything that you wanted to plug or tell our listeners about while we've got you here?
Well, if you're ever up here around this way, again, I work for Mount Hope Estate and Winery as executive producer. They're the producers of the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair and a ton of other entertainment that happens. We're doing this immersive interactive murder mystery right now, and then we'll do big Celtic music festivals and stuff. But if you go to parenfair.com, that's fair with an E at the end of it, and you can see all this myriad of things that we're up to right now.
That sounds awesome. I really want to do that.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, then. That's going to wrap up the podcast. Don't forget, we want you to try the 3 codes at Epic Universes. I Love Burke. Rate each 1 out of 5 and send those recordings to podcast@uuopodcast.com. And we'll see you next week for our next news show. See ya!
That's the end of another stellar episode of UUOP. Use the Flu Network to give you access to us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. And check out our blog at uuopodcast.com for everything else. Send your owls to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. And if you want to join the Producers Club, jump down the warp pipe at uuop.supercast.com. It's alive on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else that podcasts are found. So please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you can. Dragons aren't the only way to get around. Email Michelle at portkeyvacations.com. She can take care of all aspects of your next Universal Orlando vacation. Listen to them, the children of the night, the children of the UUOP network. Rush of Fear Halloween Horror Nights podcast, the theme park duo for all your West Coast news and info. The Taste of Universal, Universal Orlando Food Podcast, Port Key Passport, an adult-centric Disney podcast, the unofficial Universal Great Britain podcast, and Big Dumb Stuff, our comedy, pop culture, and themed entertainment podcast. Make sure to subscribe and come back next week because in the end, it turns out all we needed was a little more of this.